Hello, 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 children. I got something really cool for y'all today. You want to see what it is? Me too. Stay right there. Keep it on lock. Okay, so welcome back to the channel, y'all. I appreciate you for hanging out. Let's get all the welcomes and subscribers and all that stuff out the way real quick. If you haven't, subscribe, tell somebody, all that good stuff. Thanks for hanging out, new subscribers, old, all of that. I appreciate y'all. With that said, I did a MOW Truck vehicle for the layout. Little HO scale. MOW meaning maintenance of way. Maintenance of way trucks are the vehicles that do the maintenance on the railway. So the big companies like CSX, Norfolk Southern, Union Pacific, all those guys, they have their own companies, but then there's little companies that also have maintenance vehicles that perform track maintenance, railroad tie maintenance, all the maintenance that needs to happen on the railway. These little trucks do it. It was a fun build, you know. I used all scrap styrene that I had floating around. I think I had some sheets that I had. I'll try and, as I narrate through the video coming up, I'll try and list the pieces and the different sheets and sizes of all that stuff that I used, but mainly it was just scrap stuff that I had in like a little baggie from other projects and stuff like that. So yeah, it was a fun build. And yeah, let's just get into it so you can see how I put this together. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna try my best to freestyle this as I'm watching the video. And so this is I think it's just like a Walther's mainline truck. I think I bought it for like $10 from the hobby shop or the train store, Blue Ox Trains here in Atlanta. And here I'm just showing, like, you know, there are some screws under the truck that can release that flatbed. And that's kind of what I want to do as far as to where I can mod and change that flatbed to fit what I want on there as far as like the cabinets and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm just taking off the screw, unscrewing the screw and taking off the flatbed. I'm sorry, my allergies are really messing with me right now. As soon as I want to start recording something, they want to act up. Anyway, I got that off. And as you can see, the fuel tank and some other stuff came off of there too. But this is the flatbed, and it's pretty easy. It's nothing serious to do as far as I don't know, severe type of anything to take that off of there. And there was a screw on the front for the cab as well. And just pay attention to this little bumper here, because I'm gonna take that off also. I had to cut those tabs that are holding that bumper on because I want to extend the bumper, but I think I go over that later in the video as well. So we'll just keep an eye out for that. And so here I didn't show it. It's in another section of the video, but I do have an HO scale, O scale, and I think on the other side is an N scale. It's a ruler, right? And here I'm just kind of measuring where I want to cut out the area for the stairs. in here, so I have like a little Dremel tool. So I have a Dremel, but this one is a smaller version of that. It's more rechargeable, kind of handheld, if you will. It's a very small Dremel, and I'll try and put a link for that as well in the description, so you can grab that from Amazon. That's a lifesaver. Like, I know there was a few things in here that I mentioned that are lifesavers, but that right there, and I'm just writing it down so I don't forget. Small drill. I mean, it's come in handy so many times. But yeah, so to get back to the video here, I measured where I want the steps to fall. So I had the gas tank on there, and then on the other side there's like a little cabinet that is under the truck too, and I think I cut that off so I can use that space as well. But yeah, I dremeled that off, and then here I'm using my utility knife to score. So this plastic flatbed is like it's almost like styrene. You can score it and then just snap the part off. It's very glue friendly, so I use I want to say plastic weld or something like that as far as the adhesive, and as you can see, it just snaps right off. I just scored it, and then I'll go back in and clean up the little corners and the edges and all that, so it's nice 90-degree angles. But you can see once I put it back on the truck, just for placement, that's where I'm gonna put my steps, and I built those steps all by the styrene as well. And here I've cut up some styrene. Like I mentioned, I'll try and link some of these sheets that I use, but a lot of this stuff was just scrap styrene that I had, and just cutting it and measuring and looking at reference and honestly freestyling. So I had some styrene scraps that I had in a plastic baggie. I used my ruler, kind of measured how big, these items needed to be. And I always have a little HO scale figure too next to whatever I'm working on, so I can make sure it looks the part. Even though I have the HO scale ruler, I still want to make sure it is the right size. And if they're putting their hands on it, I'm imagining that they're actually using this equipment, and I want to make sure it's the right size. So, and here I'm just kind of finishing up building and putting together one of the cabinets that'll go on the side of the truck. I think that's the tall cabinet actually that will go on the side. Using tweezers, anything I can. I sometimes pick the items up and use my hands to make sure I try and get it as flush as possible. I do have an emery board that I use, and I'll rub it against that to make the top and the bottom even. Sometimes you can see the glue oozed out a little bit, and that's actually plastic melting too. So what that Plastistruct does is it melts the plastic pieces together. And so I'll go back and either get my utility knife and scrape some of that off, or I'll get my emery board and rub it and get the little nicks and stuff off. Oh, and here is my HO scale ruler. So I'm just kind of, I think it's like 6 feet of what I want to do of something. And so I kind of just measure that off and make sure, it's going to fit where I want it to fit. So you can see the little HO scale guy up there. I'm measuring the actual flatbed itself, the space where I want to put this cabinet that I'm getting ready to cut out of styrene. And again, that's all I was doing was trial and error. So I think that's probably the most time that I've spent, that takes up most of my time, is figuring out the size of things that I want. So now, you know, I can use these sizes that I've come up with and actually duplicate it, so it'll be a little quicker next time. But yeah, here's one side of the trailer, and then here's the other side. You can see I got some steps down. The tall cabinet is on the right hand side. I got a shorter cabinet over there, and I'm just figuring this stuff out, you know. And so here I want to extend. This is where I was talking about the bumper. So I took the bumper off, and now I'm trying to figure out something to extend the bumper, and then I could put the little rail wheels on there. So I just put another scrap of styrene on there, kind of traced around it, because I know I want to use the underside as the mounting piece for this. And now I got the bumper in the front, and I'm just kind of visualizing what I need to do to make all this come together. I didn't have any instructions. I didn't have anything. Like I said, I just used reference. And so I cut out that piece of styrene, glued it, and this is where I use super glue for that part. I super glued it to the tabs that were on the bottom right here that I'm pointing at. And then I glued the styrene, or the bumper, to that styrene piece. Then I made wheels and axles and stuff like that. And I think I go over a little bit on this video on how I did that too. But for me, this was just fun figuring out how to get that all together. Excuse me again, sheesh. I actually cut out the wheels. I cut out the wheel flanges in a little circle out of styrene tubing. And like I said, I think I'm gonna show all that here in a minute. But oh, here's another update of that trailer. I made a little welding box right there. And again, seeing another truck that had welding stuff in it, so I was like, that would be cool, because there was a gap there, and I didn't know if I wanted to leave it empty or put something else there. So I just made a quick welding kit. Nothing fancy. I think it was like a Weller's something that was on one of the other trucks. But here I have a circle guide, and I just eyeball it. You know, I looked at other train wheels that I've swapped out for metal wheels, so I used those as guides to make those, because looking at, you know, the actual reference, the rail wheels that go under these vehicles are a lot smaller than regular train wheels, and then they're smaller than the actual tires that are on the vehicles too. So I had to trial and error with this. You know, I cut some first that were too big, then I cut some that were too small, and I think I've landed on a size that I was happy with. I'm sure I could have, you know, dug searcher for some more research to figure out what exact size it was, but I think I done okay with it. And here I'm just cutting around that circle with my utility knife, right on the edge of the circle, right? And then once I get through with cutting around the circle like that, you'll be able to tell it's like there'll be edges or corners that, you know, don't sell that it's a round circle. So I'll take my emery board, which is coming up next. Oh, well, here you can see like there's little corners on the wheel, and I don't want corners, right? We want it to be as circular and perfect as possible. But since I'm hand making this stuff, that's a little difficult. But I get my tweezers and I grab the little wheel, or that's the flange part. So I grab the flange part and just keep going back and forth until I get that corner smoothed out. I'll rotate the wheel and do another part. You know, this is time consuming. So if you want to do something like this, just make sure, you know, you understand this is time consuming. And here's the finished wheel. I guess it's not a perfect circle, but for me, as long as those corners are gone, I'm good. And this is so small, and it'll be tucked away under the truck. You won't really be paying attention to if it's a perfect circle or not, especially with paint and weather and all that stuff on there. It'll just look like a little wheel under there. So I was okay with how that turned out. Here I am making the outer part of the wheel, and I'm just you can see I had a piece of styrene, and I am just I'm eyeballing again how thick that should be. And this is the back part of it. So, you know, I've done the front, I've done the back. Here's another part of the trailer that I wanted to do. So I wanted to add like a rack on the back of it, and I drilled out holes so I can put these little metal rods in there. And the metal rods are really just wire straightened out. So it's once you straighten it out and cut it, it becomes a little bar. But these little tools, these little drills, you got to get a set. Like, even if you're not doing this type of stuff, they're just good to have. Like, this is probably the best set of little drills that I've had that helped with drilling very small little pilot holes and stuff like that, so I can get these very small rods where I want to put them. And I'm writing that down too, so I can put a link at the bottom. And I seen Boomer use those. He mentioned them, and so I grabbed some, and yeah, they're a lifesaver. And so here is pretty much finished. You know, I have to paint it and weather it and all that, but and the painting and weathering I did not capture, so I do want to apologize before I get into the other part of the video of it being done. But yeah, this was just a fun build. You know, it was super fun. You can see I added a handrail for the stairs. In the upper left corner, there's a silver box that I used that was where the stairs are. When I cut that to put the stairs, I just put that little steel box up there. And yeah, here's the finished piece. Like I said, this was probably one of the funner pieces I've done in a day's worth of work, if you will. I love doing mods. I love making stuff to fit the way I want it to fit. I use some other wire to make, little hoses and ropes and cable and all that stuff. I got some rails on top, and yeah, this was a fun piece, y'all. If you ever get a chance to try and do something like that, hit me up. I don't mind helping people. I'm on a lot of groups and Facebook and stuff like that. So just look for Wayman Humphrey, yo. And that's it. So I am going to call this one done. Peace out, y'all. Okay, so that was my maintenance away vehicle that I created. MOW for short. It was a super fun build. Maybe a full day if I put everything together as far as hour-wise. It was pretty quick once you start getting the rhythm of what to cut and all that stuff. Again, it was just scrap styrene that I had. I had maintenance. I had reference pulled up, but I didn't stick exactly with the reference that I had. I kind of just freestyled a little bit too. I seen some trucks had welding machines on it. I seen some trucks had some other things on there. I plan on doing a few more of them so I can have a fleet on the layout. But yeah, other than that, it was just a fun project. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'll put some links below as far as like Amazon links, my affiliate links, so you can grab like maybe the wire or something like that. I think I'll put a few of the styrene sheets in there too. And yeah. Oh, Patreon. I'd like to thank all the new people. I'm getting a little traction on Patreon. I appreciate all y'all for coming out on that side of the internet and supporting me. It means a lot. It means that, you know, people say that the support on Patreon can help them do this YouTube and do other things. And it's true. I was able to buy equipment from Patreon. Yes, those people that support me and others like me, Patreon helps a lot. So I just thank my Patreon supporters for that. If you want to support, there's a link below. And yeah, just click it and kind of see what I got going on over there. I go in a little more depth of the things that I do, to where I can type out some stuff and show other pictures and different angles of stuff that I've been doing. But yeah, it's a good place to support some people, you know. And with that said, I did create another volume 2 of the lo-fi chilling out while I'm running trains. Put that on in the background, let it play, do all of that. I even created a playlist, so now I got volume 1 and volume 2. Check those out. It would definitely help me get my hours up on YouTube. It's crazy. Anyway, check it out. It's in one of these corners, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.